Good evening, and welcome to another scene in the Desadrek Crusade. We start our scene at a time where some people are just waking up, just before the dawn sets. Well, not just before, but an hour or so before. The sun will warm up the mortal populace, and all of the children of Cain will hopefully be indoors or under the ground or something, because, yeah, they don't move around too much during the day. And one such is Madeline, who is walking around in her haven. She knows that her partner is have been seen to leave the haven, and with the guard presence in the streets, he has not come back yet. This makes her nervous. Maybe she's not showing it too much, but she is wanting to sit down and read. She doesn't for more than a minute. And now she is somewhat reserved, as much as possible, quietly pacing in her study.
Yes, to say about an hour before sunrise. Still in the depth of night. A hot, humid night, as Odessa summers often are. Thorvald, Madeline will probably be alerted to the sound of a thud as Thorvald climbs over the wall that protects their haven and drops down the other side.
As she hears that, Madeline will be quite quick to the door.
And
She opens it, and yeah, you can. I will actually roll for that because
there's a courtyard bit.
Madeline has 3 successes to look as calm and relaxed as possible.
What you see Thorvald. He's, from all reports, he went out quite heavily cloaked, but he's come back in, missing his cloak. He's basically just in his undershirt, trousers, and boots. He climbs over the wall, drops down, and then he goes to the gate, opens it ajar, and the dog runs in. And then he locks the gate behind him securely. He doesn't seem to. I'll roll, actually. Oh, he does notice her. He sees the dog and then he looks up to see Madeline standing at the door.
She's actually out in the courtyard now. She is coming closer, and she just... Welcome home.
You can tell that he's used Blush of Health. As you get closer to him, you can see that his skin is not pale. It's been flushed.
Is there something I should know? She points to the missing, cloak.
He takes her pointing hand and kisses her fingers. My darling, how nice of you to come out and welcome me home.
Is that not what a woman is supposed to do?
He looks up to the sky. Let us talk indoors, shall we?
Of course. She leads him in. And you could see Gautria is just watching the two, she smiles to them as they enter. And
Thorvald takes off his clothes, and he doesn't. He smiles at Guthrie briefly, but he just sort of takes off his clothes and hands them to her to be laundered.
she smiles, bows.
And then he'll sort of go to a nearby pile and put on some. I want to call them harem pants. I don't know what they called them back then. Pantaloons or whatever. It's so very manly. Some trousers. He puts some trousers on, clean ones, linen ones.
So, did you give perhaps a needing person your clothes up your back?
No, my love. I was chased by the city watch. I had to lighten my load a little.
Ah, well, since you are relaxed, I do not believe that they have followed you here, and that is good.
No. They chased me for a bit, but then they lost interest. There was 4 of them. If there had been 2, I probably would have killed them, but 4 is too many bodies to hide. And I had other areas of business to attend. I didn't need the whole city swarming.
I know that it is in your blood to hunt, and I do not begrudge it, but I would recommend that you do not give these humans who have instigated this martial law or what name you put on it, give them any more reason to send more guardsmen to our part of the city at least.
Don't worry, I was a well-behaved dog. I had a woman I needed
As
to see.
I must say that even though you say you are a well-behaved dog, can you not say that in my presence? You know that you are so much more than most of the kindred, even in this city, in my eyes.
At that, he sort of drops his playfulness. He goes over to her and takes her hand and kisses it. I'm sorry if I worried you.
It is brave of you, and I applaud you. But I must say I was a little concerned. It is not too long before the sun rises.
Next time we will go together.
Of course.
I planned on taking you with me, but you were deep in your studies. I didn't wish to disturb you.
I appreciate that.
I have fed. If you require any, it is yours.
She looks to him. No, I believe I am sated enough.
He's going to roll perception empathy on that.
You will roll perception empathy. And I will say, well,
4 successes. It's diff 6, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And yeah, I have 2. So yeah, you can clearly see that I have 1 actually. No, 2. No, no, I have only 1. Oh well. She doesn't seem on the verge of hunger frenzy, but she could probably drink.
He touches her face. Darling, a little won't do you any harm.
No, I know. But it will do harm to my will, to the fact that I can control my beast. I appreciate and know that a good wife should live of her man's efforts. He smiles, hunting, and getting food for his wife, his family.
I would have brought a body, but there's no way. Not with the watch.
It is quite all right. The fact that you are sated is more important. Besides,
Not to me.
she nods, looks at him for a moment, and she just says, very well. What have you brought me, my love?
He will go to a goblet and just pour a point's worth. Like he'll cut his arm, pour a point's worth in. In fact, he bites his arm, because if he cuts his arm, he's going to have to heal it, and that's blood expenditure. He bites his arm, licks the wound, and he just brings it over. It's like not a lot of blood. It's a point's worth of blood. He just puts it down in front of her. He doesn't force it to her lips or anything.
She takes the goblet, looks at it. Smells it.
If you need me to go away, so that the bond fades, I'll leave for a few weeks. But right now, I think a little blood between us is the least of our worries.
Mm. She looks at him.
I won't ever make you take the third drink. You have my word.
One day, that will come, but that will be when you are no longer bound to your sire. We can bind to each other at a free will. But we should do so. We should do so willingly, and the both of us at the same time.
I agree.
But when I drink from you, as though I appreciate it, and she smells it again, just like almost like a wine. She swirls it around a little bit.
It smells different.
Oh, she knows.
He doesn't. It's it seems like he's been feeding on something different to what he usually does. Thor's usual fare is physical hunting, so he tends to go for big-ish, burly men like himself. Smells different.
But when I drink from you, it will be in another context. And she smiles quite widely.
He raises a brow because he's not sure what she means.
It will be in a moment of passion. She smiles. And you will drink from me also, in that case.
Thorvald gets a quite intense look on his face. Likely she's seen it before. How you tempt me in the final hour. But tonight I had business to attend to. It wasn't all hunting, unfortunately.
She puts the glass down and looks at you. Oh? Tell me, what business were you up to?
Since Well, this curfew's been making it difficult for me to do my work. With no one being allowed out at night. The pits are empty. Nobody comes to the games. Nobody bets on the matches. My purse is empty. My patron's purse is empty, which he's even more displeased about. And I was thinking about all the lovely other people that may wander the streets at night, whose purses may also be empty at this time. And I saw myself a window of opportunity.
Always a good thing.
There's a particular brothel in the Merchants District not far from here. Not quite rich enough to be a courtesan and far too high class to be placed in the slums. It's convenient enough for me to make friends. And so I did. Or at least I tried. I think the girl there thought I was rather strange. I paid for her time, but I did not sleep with her.
But you drank from her?
No, not her. She was Todd almost pauses because he's looking for the right words. She had potential. She has potential. I thought at first she might have been the madam, but when I was walking with her up to the room, she handed the coin to another woman. She's got me a meeting with the madam. Another night.
Tell me about
I'm going to propose that myself and some associates of mine help the business along a little bit. There's various gangs that give the women pressure. There's various constraints. I would see fit that that business is liable to flourish. Perhaps violence can give way to... He smirks. Love, shall we say.
commendable.
Suffice it to say that Sarah was suspicious of my intentions.
Well, in that kind of work, should be.
She's astute. She's intelligent. And I can tell she's come from a background of considerable pain.
Hmm. Is she, what, Franken? Or
I don't think so. I think she's Turkish.
Turkish? Very well.
She told me her name was Sarara, but I don't believe that's her real name. It means lucky, does it not?
And what would you say her age is? Roughly. How long has
Maybe.
she lived? How long has she suffered? I wonder.
I'd probably put her at about 5 and 20. Maybe a little older.
I'd very much like to meet this woman.
I told her about you. In a sense. And I was married to the most beautiful woman in Odessa, if not the world.
No. Let us not get ahead of ourselves. We are not married.
Well, it's far easier to explain than our true nature.
I suppose that is true.
Remember, she is mortal.
I know, I was merely teasing you.
She wanted to know why I was so interested in being charitable in her eyes to her people. I explained that I was born in a brothel. I am, all the consequences and insults aside, the son of a whore. And I've seen many women that I've loved suffer at the hands of chaotic need for destructive power. And I've decided no more. That is my garden now. And it will flourish. She will flourish. Our sisters will flourish, and the district will flourish.
So it is close to here?
Not far. I take the long way round because of the guards.
It is a good start. A good place for you to begin this village.
If our madam pays me a commission for protection, keeps out the gangs, and at least I won't take myself out on the unwilling like they do. A gift is a gift, but I've never been known to force it.
Keep it that way.
I always will. I think she was a little bit offended that I did not go to bed with her.
Well, the both of us can explain that. And if she is insisting, well, I suppose the two of us can join her.
He smiles.
It would not be the first time the two of us have. She just looks to the door in general direction of Kutria.
I had to be careful with her.
I know.
It's been a long time since I've been touched by a woman who was not of our kind. Or had knowledge of our kind. I almost forgot myself.
She is that ravaging?
He indicates to the state of his blush of health. It looks different on him because he doesn't normally use it.
An important thing to remember.
I had to arrange a meeting with the madam and then send 4 girls to another room for my feeding. Cautiously. Feeding on the streets would have been impossible. It really is swarmed.
It is.
There were 2 other men there, though I did not stop to ask them when and why.
Probably nobles of some description.
Have you had any ideas on how to lift this curfew? Someone needs to do something about it.
I have ideas, but I will need to talk to Irene quite soon. Then things will get moving, hopefully.
I can enter Timuran, but I can't hunt there.
No.
Thorvald pulls a face at this. He obviously looks displeased.
Madeline smiles not so widely, but she does seem to approve somehow of what you said.
I know better than to speak ill of Ulrich in your presence. But the man is selfish beyond means.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city to himself. And he guards it like a washerwoman with his last coin.
You would do the same if you had his enemies.
I suppose.
You realize that he defends that city against not our kind, but something quite worse, yes?
Thorwald pulls his I know you're right face.
He
But I'm
has
not
to
going to
be
say that.
extremely vigilant, sadly.
Sometimes it feels uncomfortable to be at the bottom of the feeding chain.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I had the power, I'd make changes. But I do not.
That seems to be the structure of power. Those like you will probably be one of the best people to wield said power.
Instead,
Other,
we have that clown Gerard as sheriff.
other people less likely. And she begins to giggle. Well, people like you are the best equipped, the best, I believe, to wield power, and yet you are the people who are the least likely to get it. But yes, Gerard is a thing.
Yeah, where is he in his shiny armour now? When the city needs him to sort out the problems. Sitting in his lordly mansion, I expect.
Most likely.
Hiding behind his masks and his gold. Just like our new bred Bruges friend.
Still on your mind?
I know a coward when I see one.
He showed me his face after I asked of it.
I bet he did.
Yes,
He seemed like he wanted to show you a lot more. Thorwald puts his pipe in his mouth.
I do believe that he is less inclined to such things. Resembles more of a Nosferatu than anything else.
Well, a man of a clear, true Christian heart.
More so than you realize, I believe. Do not know if he's a hypocrite or if he is just hiding it very well. Do not know. But perhaps he is simply one of the more in their own in their own mind, loyal or faithful to the church. I do not know.
Hmm. And at any rate, the sun threatens to rise.
It
We should
does.
retire. We should retire. He sort of looks at his down at himself, and he's got sort of like fingerprints and red wine sort of spilled all over him, and he's after a bath.
Well, since Gutria is busy with it, I believe I can give you some help.
He smiles.
Madeline smiles and gets up.
Looks at the goblet.
She has not drunk from it. Drunk. What is it in past tense? She had not.
She's not drank from it.
Drank from it. She has not yet taken a drink from the cup. That's a way of getting around it. She gets up.
Perhaps our little mouse would prefer it, if you are not so inclined.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Gutria, she says, and not too long after Gutria will enter, and she will just lead her over and just look at Torvald, see if he wants to give her to her or something.
He picks up the goblet and lifts it up to
her. She seems a little flustered. She does quickly just shoot a glance at Madeline. It seems a little, nervous. But Madeline just smiles and nods. And she giggles a little and just says thank you quite a few times. And she drinks it.
Thord smiles. And he makes his way to the bath.
Madeline just looks at Gutria as Torvald leaves, goes over, and she whispers something into his ear. And the two will follow Torvald into the bath. And with that, I believe the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.